In years past, it's mostly been Democrats who get their vote in early, so we're going to dig in a little deeper here. The AP reporting that Republicans may be closing the gap this year, but they say it's hard to draw conclusions from these early voting numbers because we don't know who they're voting for just yet, and it's still so early in the process. For example, in the battleground state of Pennsylvania, more than 1 million votes have already been cast so far, which, according to the New York Times, is just 16% of the total number of voters in the state. So really hard to tell, but 7 News political analyst Bob McCarthy joins me now. Bob, we're going to be seeing a lot of your face over the next week, I can imagine.
It's too bad.
I know, people are going to be thrilled. There's a lot we need to talk about. And as we mentioned, it's still early, but these numbers are hard to ignore. What do you make of all this?
Well, I think what it says more than anything else, Taylor, is that the way America votes is changing, and that even Republicans were very much against this idea, but now they're embracing it too. As a matter of fact, early voting, we see numbers like 44 million nationwide now. 42% are Democrats, 40% are Republicans. And even here in Erie County, I can recall more than a year ago, Congressman Nick Langworthy, who, by the way, was the chairman of the New York State Republican Party not too long ago, urging people to go out and vote early. And even today on right-wing radio, I heard hosts urging people to get out there and vote early. So it's changing. It's a fact of life. The Republican Party has recognized that and is beginning to embrace it also.
Now, does this mean there's going to be no long lines out there on November 5th next week?
I have not heard on Election Day a lot of stories about long lines ever. So I would think that it won't be, but who knows? If we're seeing this kind of turnout early in the process, that means we're probably going to see a very heavy turnout on Election Day too. People are still going to vote on Election Day.
Right. Now, there's going to be a busy couple of days for the candidates now. We don't really know who these folks are voting for when we're seeing these numbers come in. I know that Kamala's on the campaign trail. Obviously, Trump is too. He made some comments at Madison Square Garden that are making a lot of headlines. What do you make of the next week for the candidates? What are you expecting to see?
Well, already today we saw a lot of reaction out of Democrat world about the remarks made in the Garden last night. And some of those remarks were pretty raw. So they are naturally going to be the topic of discussion today. And when I think about how some of those remarks were aimed at Latino voters, it's hard to understand why that happened, especially when Donald Trump is reaching out to Latino voters and making progress getting Latino voters. So the point of all this is that while he may have shored up his base with that kind of talk, or especially with him, but with people around him, I'm not sure that it did anything for anybody who still might be on the fence, and I'm not sure there's not that many people on the fence anyway. So.
Yeah, and I'm sure people are asking you, are you feeling certain that it's going to go one way or another next week, or is it really up to the next 8 days to figure it out?
You know, I would be flabbergasted if we know next Tuesday night who our next president is going to be. It's possible, but from what I am gathering, a lot of people are saying it might be possible on Wednesday, and there are those who say that it could go all the way till Saturday, just like it did in 2020.
Okay, so we're going to be talking about this a lot more, obviously, in the next coming week. Political analyst Bob McCarthy helping us out here as always. Thank you so much.